Jayhawks performing live in the Bridge Studios. You know, as a band, you've been touring for 30 years, and if you look at the normal trajectory, most of the time the seminal works happen early, and yet the reviews on this album have always said among their best, if not the best. That has to be really gratifying because you're kind of breaking the mold.
It is, that's cool that you said that, because I'm kind of the flag bearer of people doing some best work later in their life, because it seems like most bands, they do their best work in their first few records. And I personally, I'm a late bloomer. I wasn't in a band till I was 26, out of college. I wasn't in the Jayhawks till I was 30. Everything in my life seems to have happened later, and especially in rock, it's hard to do your best work later. You really can. I can't name any, really, hardly. Maybe a few have done it, but mostly, maybe in the jazz world and blues and other areas, classical. But rock, it's usually a young person's game. So we're trying to show people it can happen later in life.
I kind of came to this thinking that maybe this could all be explained by the approach that you took, because it was really about exploration. And when I say exploration, what I really mean is you kind of wanted to erase everything and start with a clean slate. And your songwriting really began with what you termed sonic explorations.
Yeah, I had a real change in my life 3.5 years ago. I went to rehab, and I cleaned up my act, got off of drugs and alcohol, and when I came out of it, there was this blank slate. What am I going to do? I don't know what. I just started writing all kinds of things with no particular purpose, not even knowing if it would be with the Jayhawks. And then when it became important to me, and I realized how much I needed the band and these particular people, by then I think I had written in slightly a different way, and then we started writing together, and so it was an interesting way to do it, not writing for any specific purpose, and maybe that had something to do with it.
I'm going to allow myself one rehab question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't really want this to be about rehab, but you started taking prescription painkillers because you had an inflammation of your heart lining, and it kind of spiraled from there. And you're from Minneapolis, and I just wondered what kind of feelings you had when clearly you've taken one path and Prince ended up taking a different.
Yeah, I can't speak directly for him because I didn't know exactly what he's going through, but I have to admit that I identified with him and, felt particularly strongly, empathetically for him, because whether it was he was taking it for pain or not, eventually you start taking it because you think you need it, but in your heart, you're taking it for other reasons, and it stops working after a while, so you have to keep doing more, and it's such a terrible problem now. There is. I'm here to say there's life after. If you can get out of it, it's just so much better.
When you got through your process, it was almost like somebody who'd had a physical injury that needs to relearn how to walk. You had to sort of reclaim music for yourself.
Yeah, I blamed music for all my problems for a while. I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was, if I had stayed an architect, I would have had a stable life and I would never have used. And in reality, no, that's not the truth. Music was probably keeping me alive. And so, I've come to love music, and I realized that it's not the evil, it's the positive thing in my life.
And when you went through that process with your songwriting, you also went through that process with your band. You reclaimed the Jayhawks.
Well, yeah, and not to make this all about sobriety, but you do tend to have a new appreciation for things, for what you have, and so I think I realized that there's this great band right there for me, and I used to be the guy nothing. The grass was always greener. People always had it better. Things this, and I think in general, I've just I'm not perfect, but I still feel like I appreciate what I have and the people that I work with and life in general.
Well, and I mean this really honestly. I'd say this with the mics off. Thank you. Because we got a really great record.
Yeah.
We got a really good
I don't want to have
record.
to go through all that again to get a good record.
Yeah,
Let's hope it's a little easier next time, because I went down to the the darkness, and it's not pretty down there.
We're speaking with Gary Louris and the Jayhawks in the studio. We'd love to hear a song if we could.
Hailstones, butterscotch, firewalls, forget-me-nots. Baby, won't you take a chance on me? Heels tuck in, brace to fall, on my holster on your wall. Baby, won't you take a chance on me? Flies buzz around your pretty head, dancing upon your chin. The devil is in her eyes. The devil is in her eyes. The devil is in her eyes. David Foster Wallace said, what goes on inside your head is just too complicated to describe. Two bums almost came to blows. Christmas comes and Christmas goes, stealing all my thunder with your smile. Flies buzz around your pretty head, dancing upon your chin. The devil is in her eyes. The devil is in her eyes. The devil is in her eyes. Flies buzz around your pretty head, dancing upon your chin. The devil is in her eyes. 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 The devil is in her eyes.
That was absolutely lovely.
Well, we've been touring, so
That just sounded great.
we're good.
Yeah.
We were good to start. Now we're even better.
Yeah, well, I don't want to diss any other bands, but a lot of times
Let's do that.
when bands are like I always hate it when I get a record and it's got these beautiful harmonies and you go to hear them live and somebody's off, This band is so good. So good, so good.
We're too good. That's my new thing now. I realize
Yeah.
we're too good. That's why we're not bigger. It's just it's just
There's
goes
just
above
people
people's
don't
heads,
care as
maybe.
much about quality as they used to.
Well, I've always been proud of the fact that we make good records and we're good live. It's true. Usually it's one or the other. Great band in the studio, see them live, you're disappointed. Great live bands many times don't make great records. So I'm pretty proud of the fact that we're both.
This seems like a pretty good time to introduce the band. If you'd like, maybe we start with the Native Son back behind you on drums.
Oh, yes. Tim O'Regan. You don't want me to mention anything about...
Yeah, here I am.
There's Tim O'Regan on the drums. Yeah, we definitely have Kansas connections, even though I'm not from Kansas. But the name, and then my sister and my niece lives here. My sister and her family all came out of Wichita, when she settled there with her husband. And so we have these kind of Kansas connections. But
And if they're late coming to the in-studio, the front desk has instructions to bring you on by. So just...
From International Falls, Minnesota, Karen Grotberg on the keyboards and vocals.
We told
applaud.
the audience not to applaud.
Oh, did
so,
you?
yeah,
Oh.
but you can applaud the band members, yeah.
On bass, the longest-standing member of the band, the heart and soul of the band, really, from St. Louis Park, Minnesota, Mark Perlman. And the new guy, the Portland Pansy. No, we're kidding. We're just calling him that because he was afraid to go bowling because he might break his nails, right? No, he's a badass. Chet Leister from Portland, Oregon. We're so happy to have him in the band.
The album is Paging Mr. Proust, and there are a lot of literary references on this record, not just Proust.
Yeah. I'm pretentious. What could I say? I wrote a lot of songs. I actually have a song called Mr. Updike John that didn't make it. And I got to Proust through Updike. But, I have a lot of books. I can't say I read them all. I'm not a fast reader. Like my sister can read a book in 2 hours. But I do read, and I didn't mean it to be this. I wrote a lot of songs, and when we sifted through the songs and we came down with the songs that seemed like they were going to make it, it just happened to be that a few of them had that. I dropped some writers' names, and then the title came later when a friend of mine was traveling in Europe, and she and her friend thought they heard Marcel Proust being paged in an airport, and I thought, I love that title, and I know I'm going to get a lot of grief. But the cool thing is that when we played in New York, I got some people came up to me, and they're from the Proust Society, so now I get to do a little to get connected with that. So I better finish reading that book.
Well, and that's why I haven't started, because it's like Proust has always been on my list of things I need to get to, but when the seminal work is 7 volumes and over 1,000 pages, you don't get through that in a weekend,
No, and it's not something you're supposed to sift, because the idea of what I'm trying to say in the record, I guess, that came later, I realized, but is what Proust is about, is being where you are and being thoughtful, and the world is not that way right now. It's faster, smarter, better, faster, smarter, updates, upgrades. Everything's about getting faster. And I think actually the secret is to get slower and to be with who you're at the time. And it's really hard to do. I don't do it all the time, but I try.
I would think that it would be difficult to apply that lesson when you seem to have 2 different lives. You have the life on the road, and then you have the solitary existence when you're not.
Well, that's the other the feeling, other things that have been pointed out to me about this record, where what I just talked about, and then there's this feeling of movement in a lot of the songs, and there's things about airports and travel and moving, staying ahead of your monsters, whatever, and that's just, you have to be still, but then you get caught up in the current, and especially with a musician's life, where I'm home, I'm alone, I don't go out much, and then all of a sudden you're on the road and you're surrounded by people all the time, and you're moving every day. It's 2 polar opposites, and you just have to find that quiet spot.
Just one of the quotes I just came across this morning from you that I thought, well, that really defines who you are. You called yourself a writer who needs to entertain.
I feel that way. I watch the Grammys, and I think, who are those people? I don't know. I don't belong with that group of people. Although there are artists that are part of that world who are entertainers, but there are some people who are just more entertainers than writers. I feel like I'm a writer who has to go out to entertain, to promote what we did, so I can write some more. And I like it, but I'm not a social animal. And you find a lot of musicians are introverts, and they're this mixture of being they're hams. I was a ham when I was a kid, but I was also very introverted. And the stage allows you to be among a large group of people who are already kind of in your pocket a little bit. But you're around a lot of people, but you're also separated by the stage. And that's a funny spot, but a lot of musicians are like that. I'm much more comfortable on stage than I am off stage.
Well, you can see the comfort for yourself tonight at Knuckleheads when the Jayhawks play in support of Paging Mr. Proust, their new record. We'd love to hear some more music if we could.
Hey girl, look what you've done. All in ruins, nothing won. Back seats and empty stalls, collecting numbers, never called, never called. Just watch her run, watch her run. She's a lover of the sun. Watch her run, just watch her run, watch her run. She's a lover of the sun. Bayline to Robert Frost. She'll find a way of getting lost. White noise hit an all-time low. There's more to life than letting go, letting go. Just watch her run, watch her run. She's a lover of the sun. Watch her run, just watch her run, watch her run. She's a lover of the sun. Over rolling hills along the highway, far behind and almost fades away. In the fall I face a different country. Comes a time when I just find a stay. Amen to earth and sky. There's more to life than getting by, getting by. Just watch her run, watch her run. She's a lover of the sun. Watch her run, just watch her run, watch her run. She's a lover of the sun. Watch her run, just watch her run, watch her run. Just watch her run, watch her run.
This has been so much fun. We say this every once in a while, and boy, this is sure true in your case. Y'all don't have to do this, and to come in and contribute what you do to what we do is really meaningful to
Oh,
us.
yes,
So
we do need to do this. We need to get our music out there to people, and we have to feel like we did everything we could. So you're welcome, but also thank you.
Yeah, mutual admiration. The new album really is great, Paging Mr. Proust. It's the Jayhawks firing on all cylinders. And just look for the crazy picture of JFK Airport in
Yes,
the 60s.
old idol, Eros Saarinen, one of the great architects. That was his work right before he died.
So were you aware of, you were an architecture student, were you aware?
I was an architect for 9 years, yeah.
Wow. So did you already have that on your radar?
No, that came with the whole airport
Airport
hearing about
paging?
it all things kind of fell together, and we found these mid-century airports and fell in love with that picture.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like It looks like what they'd make an airport look like on an Adult Swim cartoon set 1,000 years in the future.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. It's retro, but it's futuristic at the same time.
And there's one guy looking up at the camera.
There was one guy in the center looking up saying, please help. Mr. Proust, help. The world's spinning out of control. We need a little bit of Proust in our lives.
Yeah. I think that you've got a lot of people who are going to go and seek out those books
Yeah.
after this interview.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think so. And we look forward to the next record, too. Look forward to the show tonight at Knuckleheads. Thanks again
Thanks,
for coming
John.
in. The Jayhawks on the Bridge.